Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. So in this video, as you have possibly guessed from the title and the thumbnail, I'm going to be going through my April TBR as chosen by my TBR game. I'm a booktuber, get me out of here. This is the TBR game that I usually play every month. Sometimes I do skip the odd month, but most months I play this TBR game to help me decide what to read. We move around the board and choose books based on the different genre spaces. Then there's also challenge cards which make things a little more interesting. In terms of my general reading plans for April, I would really like to continue to prioritise my own TBR, so reading books from my Kindle and also books that I own physically. I also have a few ARCs that I need to get around to and a couple of new releases as well that are on my radar. So yeah, it's going to be a busy month, I think, April. I would like to try and get back into regular vlogging. I haven't really vlogged regularly since last year because this year has just been awful. I haven't really talked about it much on my channel because it's not really something that I feel comfortable talking about, but yeah, the start of this year has not been the best, but I feel like I'm in a better place now than I was at the start of this year, so I like to get back into regular vlogging if I can, and I am actually currently filming 2 reading vlogs that I'm hoping will go live in April. I think that's everything that I needed to say in this intro, so we're not going to ramble too much and we're gonna get stuck into the roles and find out what books I'm going to be reading next month. Okay, so let's go with roll number 1. Nice high number. It's a 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is fantasy. So roll number 1 landed on fantasy, and for this I've gone with The Familiar by Leigh Bardugo, which comes out in April. It comes out on the 11th, I think. I've pre-ordered the special edition from Waterstones, so I'm hoping to read this at some point next month, probably towards the end of the month to be fair. I'm going to do a dedicated reading vlog for this and I can't decide whether to do spoilers or spoiler free. I think I'm going to keep it spoiler free because this is a standalone from what I gather, and I feel like that's just going to be more popular to do a spoiler free reading vlog. Let me know in the comments if you have a preference, but this is Leigh Bardugo's latest release, obviously. It's something completely different from her as well, which is what I'm most excited about. Even though I loved the Grishaverse and I loved the first book in the Alex Stern series, I didn't like the last 2 books in the Grishaverse that much, and I hated Hellbent when I read it last year, so I'm hoping that this is going to be a win for me. I want to renew my enthusiasm for Leigh Bardugo because she is an author that got me back into reading, and I used to say that she was a favourite author, but I don't feel like I can say that right now considering I haven't enjoyed her last 2 or 3 releases. All I know about this is that it's a dark fantasy set during Spain's golden age, and it follows a servant girl with magical powers who has to hide her Jewish blood from the deadly gaze of the Inquisition. I love historical fantasy, and like I said, I'm really excited that this is something new from Leigh Bardugo, so hopefully I do enjoy it. Roll number 2 is another 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is a challenge. Oh, and the challenge is to read one of the oldest books on my TBR. Roll number 2 landed on challenge, and the challenge was to read one of the oldest books on my TBR. So there was a few books I could have chosen for this that I've actually already mentioned in TBRs so far in 2024, but I decided to go with something a bit more fresh that I am really excited about, and I'd like to read it in April if I can. The book I'm talking about is Nettle and Bone by T. Kingfisher. So this is, I think, a dark fairy tale. I'm actually currently reading another book by this author. I only have like an hour left of the audiobook and I'm really enjoying it, so I'm excited to read more from T. Kingfisher, and I've heard great things about this book in particular. I think it's a quest story and we're following a main character who is offered the tools to kill a prince, but she has to complete 3 impossible tasks first. That was probably a terrible explanation, but I'm sure I will give give a proper synopsis when I picked this up in April. Roll number 3 is a 1, which is a thriller. Roll number 3 landed on thriller, which was perfect because I have a thriller arc that I need to read next month. It's for a book that comes out in May, and the book that I'm talking about is The Family Experiment by John Marrs. I have enjoyed most of the John Marrs books that I've read. The One is one of my favourite thrillers of all time. I do tend to prefer his more dystopian thrillers rather than his more grounded in reality thrillers, and this is set in the same universe as The One and the book that came out last year, which was called The Marriage Act. It's set in the same universe and it sounds incredible. It's, like I said, a dystopian thriller where there's a population crisis, and this company has created a service where people can create a virtual child from scratch, essentially like a Tamagotchi, and this company launches a reality TV show where 10 couples can create and raise a virtual child, and the prize is that they keep the child or they can risk it all for the chance of a real baby. Sounds really dark and twisted, and I have enjoyed John Marrs' books in the past, like I said, so hopefully I enjoy this one as well. Roll number 4 is another one, which is another challenge, and the challenge, if I can grab it, is to read a book that is rated low on Goodreads. Roll number 4 landed on challenge, and the challenge was to read a book that is rated low on Goodreads. So I had a quick look, and the book that I decided to go for is a book that wasn't on my immediate radar, but I have been wanting to read some of the books that I got through the Goldsborough subscription last year before I cancelled it, and this has quite a low average rating, but it sounds really intriguing. The Book of Eve by Meg Clothier is the book that I'm talking about. This is, I think, a book about a book. I know it follows a librarian, and one day 2 women are abandoned at the gates of the convent where she works, and these women have this mysterious book with them, and they give it to our main character and tell her that she needs to protect it with her life. I think there are men in the town that are trying to destroy this book. It sounds really like the kind of thing that I would enjoy. It's recommended for fans of dark academia and historical feminist fiction, which I am, so hopefully I will enjoy this, even though it doesn't have the best average rating on Goodreads. From what I was seeing, most people seem to be giving this 3 stars, but there's not many people giving it 4 or 5 stars. Apparently it's based on something called the Voynich manuscript, which I've never heard of, but I might do a little bit of research before picking this up, or I might do the research afterwards just in case it spoils anything to do with the story. I think this is roll number 5, and it's a 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is romance. Roll number 5 landed on romance, and for this I'm going with Check and Mate by Ali Hazelwood, which I got out of the library quite recently, and it's due back, I think, on the 7th of April, so I need to get around to it quite quickly before I need to take it back. But this is Ali Hazelwood's debut YA novel. Apparently it's not really that YA, but it's marketed as YA, and I am excited for this because I have generally enjoyed Ali Hazelwood's books. I didn't like Love on the Brain, but Love Theoretically was one of my favourite romance books of last year, so excited to read this, especially because it's a romance between 2 rival chess players. That sounds really interesting. I love chess. Love is probably a strong word, but I enjoy chess. My dad taught me to play when I was a kid. I haven't played in years or anything like that, but the idea of reading a romance book that centres chess sounds really appealing to me, so hopefully I do enjoy this one. I usually read Ali Hazelwood books quite quickly, so hopefully this will be a nice palette cleanser in April, because I feel like I have quite a lot of fantasy books on my TBR. And then this will be the final roll. It's a 1, So those are all the books that are going onto my official TBR, but there are a couple of other books that I wanted to quickly mention. I'm not going to talk about these in any detail because I've already talked about them in videos recently, and they've been on several TBRs already this year, but I haven't got around to them yet. So a book that I would like to reread is Throne of Glass by Sarah J Maas. I'd like to reread this so I can finally continue this series because I still haven't got past the first book. I would also really like to start the Atlas trilogy by Olivia Blake, I think it's called. The first book is The Atlas 6. I was meant to read this in February, but then I got sick and I went to New York, so I didn't have time, but hopefully April will finally be the month. I think that's everything that I needed to say in this video, so thank you for watching if you made it this far. Apologies if the lighting in this video has been awful. I'm filming quite early in the morning, and yeah, I think the sun is just having a party in the sky. I don't know what's going on. I've also been ill over the last few weeks. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice, but yeah, apologies if I do sound a bit croaky. Hopefully by the time I need to film my wrap up for the month, this will be gone because I haven't been able to film much over the last few weeks, and yeah, it's been really annoying, but ranting over. Thank you for watching if you did make it this far into the video. Let me know in the comments what books you're hoping to read in April, and if you've read any of the books that I've talked about in this video. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and click subscribe if you would like to see more videos from me, but otherwise I will see you next time. Bye!